and welcome to another session on finance concepts. This is your Finance-ista Cynthia Bush. So I really like this cartoon from the very old cartoon that was called Popeye. This gentleman's name is Wimpy, and he used to always say, "I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today." So we're going to take a little bit of a look behind those numbers and prove to ourselves why that's not a good idea. Which is better to receive? $100 today or $100 5 years from now? Well, remember, you can invest the money that you receive today. So if you start with $100 today, suppose that you invest it for 5 years and can earn 5% annually. At the end of the first year, you will have $105. The $100 you started with, plus $5 that you've earned in interest. For the second year, you'll start with $105, the $100 originally that you had, plus the $5 in interest. And if you keep your money in this particular investment opportunity, at the end of the second year, you will have earned another $5.25 in interest. So the total amount of money that you will have in the account at the end of the second year is $110.25. That's the $100 that you started with, plus the $5 that you earned in interest in the first year, plus the $5.25 you earned in interest in the second year. And we can keep going. So at the end of the second year, you have $110.25. You multiply that by the 5% that you can earn from interest, and you determine that you will earn $5.51 that year in interest. When you add the $5.51 in interest earnings from year 3, plus the $5.25 in interest earnings from year 2, plus the $5 that you earned in interest from year 1, plus the $100 that you started with, by the end of year 3, you'll have $115.76. And we can continue with this math for years 4 and 5. So let's look at it on a timeline. You start with $100 today. You leave your money in account. At a 5% annual interest rate, at the end of the first year, you'll have $105. By the end of the second year, you'll have $110.25. The end of the third year, $115.76. The end of the fourth year, $121.55. And then finally, by the end of the fifth year, your original $100 has grown to $127.63. So that $27.63 is the interest that you earned from that time period. So here's our original question. Which is better to receive? $100 today or $100 5 years from now? So hopefully you can see in this example, you'd always rather receive the money today because then you can invest it and grow the money. So if you start with $100 today and you invest that money, it'll be worth $127.63 in 5 years at 5% annual interest rate. If you had decided to defer taking the $100 for 5 years, the person who would have given it to you could have earned this $27.63. So you don't want them to earn it, you want to earn it. Why does the money grow the way it does? It's called compound interest. And the idea is not only are you getting 5% a year on the original $100 you deposited in the account, the interest that you're earning in the account is also earning interest. That's the part that's called compound interest. Albert Einstein understood that very well in this quote that he had from quotes on finance.com. He said, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. The other reason why you would prefer to have the money today versus in the future is because money doesn't hold its value in terms of its purchasing power over time. Let's take a look at an example. According to the folks at GoBanking.com, in 1985, the average house in America cost about $84,300, so almost $85,000. And you could buy your typical American house. 20 years later, if you had held on to that $85,000 and tried to go buy a house for that same amount of money in 2005, it would have been very challenging because by 2005, unadjusted for inflation, the average house in America cost about $241,000. So even if you still had that same $85,000 20 years later, that money would not have been able to buy you the same quality that it could originally. So, as I showed you, we could go through this manual process of calculating how much $100 will grow to in 5 years, assuming some annual interest rate. But there are other ways to solve this problem, and we call this problem a time value of money problem. So we can use an equation, which is what I'm about to show you. You can use a financial calculator, and you can also use a financial spreadsheet. But I'm going to show you the equation first to make sure you understand that, because that underpins what's happening if you use your financial calculator or what's happening if you use a financial spreadsheet. All right, so here is the equation for time value of money of a single sum. The PV stands for present value, INT is interest rate, N is the amount of time the money would be invested, and future value is how much money you expect to have in the future, given whatever you started with in the present value. So if we go back and apply this equation to our original question, we start with $100. So that's the present value. The interest rate is 5% a year. So we add 1 to 0.05. We raise it by the time period, which was 5 years. So that's why the exponent is 5. And then we do this math, and you will notice if your present value is $100 at a 5% annual interest rate over 5 years, it would grow to $127.63. So notice if you use the equation, that's a lot faster than doing it the manual way. So let's look at another example. How much do you have to invest now if you want to have $10,000 to pay for graduate school in 4 years, and you expect an annual interest rate of 7%? First off, make sure you understand what you're looking for. So the question is saying, how much do you have to invest now? So it's asking you, what is the present value of what you need to invest today to ensure in the future 4 years from now, you'll have the $10,000 you need to pay for graduate school? Here's that equation again, except notice I've reworked it a little bit because now I'm solving for present value. So present value equals future value divided by 1 plus the interest rate raised to the n. So the future value, what you want to have in the future, is $10,000. The interest rate is 7%, so you add that to 1, and you raise it to 4, because that's the time period, the number of years. You do the math, and what this answer tells you is that today you should invest $7,628.93 if you want to have $10,000 in 4 years at an annual interest rate of 7%. Okay, so that's it for today's session on time value of money. Thank you for joining me. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is your Finance-ista, Cynthia Bush, signing off.